don't think it's insane to say that Space Marine 2 is everything we've ever wanted and needed in a Warhammer game. I mean, I only just got into Warhammer like 2 years ago. I started building them, I started collecting them only like 2 years ago. Very fucking expensive hobby, by the way, but it's really good. It's really good to, like, you know, have something so intricate and fun to do. Enough of that though. I feel like, so I wanted to speak on Warhammer since it's coming out very, very soon. It's coming out in some early September, and I just wanted to say in regards to, I want to say things in regards to Helldivers 2, because a lot of people have been saying that, like, Helldivers 2 apparently has not been delivering on what the player base wanted. It's been disappointing a lot of the players, as I've heard. I've only heard. I haven't played the game myself because the gameplay for me looked a bit too repetitive. It looked like it didn't have any like end goal or such like that. It didn't really look like it had much of a purpose besides all-out just warfare. Whereas Warhammer Space Marine 2, it has a campaign, it has a multiplayer with different game modes, and it has the Swarm co-op mode, which looks fun as fuck, by the way. But I've seen a lot of people saying that, like, if you're disappointed in Helldivers 2, 100% wait for this game to come out, and I cannot recommend it more. For what I've seen Helldivers 2 fans love about Helldivers 2, I feel like Warhammer Space Marine 2 does it, but onto a more higher level, like the Swarm mode, which I'm going to get into in a bit, and the multiplayer modes, and the multiple forms of customization. Even though, sorry, I'm putting my mic, even though I know Helldivers 2 also has, like, loads of different forms of customization, I feel like Warhammer 2, Space Marine 2 does it so much better, so much more diversity in terms of customization for what I've seen. All the different, like, you know, Marines and shit like that. I mean, I'm not very well versed in Warhammer lore, okay? I've tried to get into it. It's a lot to take in. But from what I've seen, it's completely delivering on everything Warhammer fans have ever wanted from a game. As you can see here, all the Tyranids swarming in from the hills. I feel like if you're a Warhammer fan, this is exactly everything you've wanted and more. Like, look at this, man. Jesus Christ. And they've gone into detail as well about how this swarm system works and how, like, each one of these swarms is like an NPC and stuff like that. Like, oh my god, man. How do you not look at that and not get goosebumps? It's amazing. It reminds me of what that one zombie game tried to do it as well, with the swarms of zombies. I feel like World War Z, the video game, tried to do that as well, but that game didn't really set off as well. But I feel like this game will be completely different. The only worries I'd say I have with this game is that the swarm mode and stuff like that becoming a bit too far repetitive. I hope they stray away from what Helldivers 2 did, and they start adding, like, different forms of, like, you know, different planets and hopefully different enemies in the future, like the orcs. I know this is heavily, like, based in, like, you know, it's the conflict against Tyranids on a certain planet, but, like, to expand and, like, keep it fresh, keep the player base revitalized, and, like, you know, keep the heartbeat of this game going, I think it would be great to add, like, different conflicts within the game as well. Although maybe some Warhammer nerds are pretty fine with it just being the Tyranids, I personally want it to go beyond the Tyranids. I want them to do more stuff. I want them to do different varieties of enemies, because I feel like if this game does that, it will succeed where Helldivers 2 failed. And I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of people. As for the combat is brutal. It's slower than most FPSs and most shooters, but it feels good. It looks and feels good, you know? It has weight to it, has power. It looks absolutely amazing. Amazing. Yeah, as for the multiplayer reminds me of, like, I got, like, a good vibe of, like, the old Halo days, old Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo Reach, those days. I got those vibes watching the multiplayer of the Warhammer 40k rounds. It kind of gives me those vibes, and it kind of gave me hope that this game might be something big. I know Warhammer is far too niche to really hit that market, but I feel like for the player base that are going to play this game, they're going to stick around. Like, the people who are interested in this game, they're going to stick around, you know? Guaranteed. I hope I don't know, I've only seen like 2 or 3 modes so far, so I hope they keep adding more and more modes in future. it looks fun as hell. The multiplayer looks so good. It looks just as enticing as the swarm mode, the co-op mode. The co-op mode is just gonna be the main seller for me because I love that type of shit. But not the repetitiveness of Helldivers 2. I don't like a game just being centered around one gimmick and then that's it. That kind of turns me away a bit. I like diversity and a bit of like, bit of fresh change in my live service games. And for a lot of people as well, this game is going to be like a live service because people have been like accustomed to having a negative reaction to live service games, and I feel like this is going to be one of those games that's going to very much just be like, yeah, we know what we are, but we 100% intend to deliver on everything we promised, and we 100% intend to deliver on the game of how good it is. I don't really care much about how a live service is in the end. I care about how a live service is at the start. For example, Battlefront 2 was not a very good game, a live service game at launch. It was very poorly delivered, did not deliver on some of the things I promised. It was heavily monetized with disgusting pay to win and loot boxes, and it put a bad taste in my mouth in terms of live service games, at least for me. But for Warhammer, I feel like this is going to change for a lot of people. The Helldivers 2 did the exact same, but I feel like Helldivers 2 has kind of wandered off and it's failed to innovate and keep its player base. I don't know. This is just from what I've seen and the research I've looked into. I'd like to see how Helldivers 2 players speak for that. But like, in terms of what this game has to offer, I feel like it's very hard to disappoint, Very, very hard to disappoint. I mean, it's coming out in September now. September 9th, right there, 2024. PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. I'm very much looking forward to this game. Again, I'm gonna play this game somewhere down the line. But I feel like when I'm gonna play this game, I'm gonna heavily focus on the multiplayer because the multiplayer is the most grasping aspect for me, and all the different customizations as well. It's like the way I can talk about the customization is like having your own little minifigure in like digital form, and you get to decide how to paint it. You get to decide what pieces to put on it, and I feel like that's going to be one of the big main draws of this game, is the little intricate like customization options for your Space Marine. It's going to be great, man. It's going to be fantastic, and I hope it really does what Helldivers 2 did, but like improves on that and innovates more, does way more, and then it could be the game that Helldivers 2 fans wanted, after like the initial hype period and all the content kind of started to dry out. Frankly, I don't see how this game is going to disappoint. I see a good, if they keep doing the things I said, I see a good future for this game. Frankly, I don't see it failing, because Warhammer fans are very dedicated. And yeah,